Hey there, today let's take a fun journey to the fascinating world of brain health and the surprises it holds. You know, our brains are pretty amazing, but they can face some tricky issues like depression and anxiety that can make everyday life a bit more challenging. Sometimes these mental issues are linked to physical injuries like sports concussions or even recurrent concussions from repeated hits. Ouch! Traumatic brain injury or TBIs can lead to a whole cascade of effects, including post-concussive symptoms and even more serious conditions like chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Say that 5 times fast. This condition often features tau protein deposition, especially around perivascular areas and focal regions and parts of the brain like the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Think of tau proteins as tiny troublemakers that deposit and cause problems like atrophy, which is basically brain shrinkage and can mess with the brain's normal functions. Speaking of brain areas, the brain surface is silica and gyri, along with white matter interfaces and fiber bundles, all play a role in how well our brain communicates. When sharing forces from impacts occur, they can cause focal abnormalities and lesions, especially in regions like the frontal parietal and occipital lobes. These force dissipation effects can damage axons, the long nerve fibers, and disrupt gray matter and white matter integrity. Now, when the brain gets injured, it often responds to a neurobehavioral or neuropsychiatric response, which sometimes involves processes like neurofilament breakdown or phosphorylated tau buildup. These changes can be seen in conditions like frontotemporal dementia, where tau protein depositions and atrophy are common, especially in the frontal and temporal lobes. It gets even more interesting. The brain isn't just a passive victim, it has an immune system too. Blood-brain barrier permeability can increase after injury, or autoimmune reactions, allowing immune cells like macrophages and monocytes to enter the brain. These immune players, including splenic macrophages and microglia, can respond to toxicants or inflammatory signals like interferon gamma, sometimes leading to neuronal silencing or damage. In autoimmune conditions like neuropsychiatric systemic lupus erythematosus, the immune system might produce anti-neural and anti-glial antibodies affecting neurons and glial cells. These immune responses can cause visual paraneoplastic syndromes impacting retinal ganglion cells and leading to visual disturbances. Some treatments and research efforts focus on calming this immune chaos. For example, minocycline, an antibiotic with anti-inflammatory properties, and statins known for their cholesterol-lowering effects are being explored for their potential to reduce matrix myeloproteinases and stabilize the brain barrier. All in all, whether it's a sport concussion, autoimmune challenge, or neurodegenerative process, the brain's response involves a complex dance of proteins, immune cells, and structural changes. It's a reminder that protecting our brains and understanding these processes is key to keeping our minds sharp and healthy. So stay curious, stay safe, and keep those brains happy.